it all pans out. They were very friendly with each other.
Yeah.
So not too much banter going on when the coaches were talking. But I still think it's going to be interesting. Obviously, everything is on the line here, and we are going to be on Inferno for the first map of the PGL Major. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. mousesports versus Gambit on Inferno. And Sapphire's doing our own game or something. I love that they put that in there. It's really great. Her and DJ do an amazing job. So you want to see them every time, pretty much.
Pretty much the premier duo now when it comes to observing. So I'm glad to see that yet again they're here at the Major. They were also handling it back at E-League as well. But mousesports and Gambit starting us off. Inferno, classic map, most played map according to Red Eye. And so, you know, good on him doing the stats. But more importantly, that this is a new map and it's played fairly differently from what we've seen in the past. And it looks like the X-God has already been laid low, Anders.
Yeah, apparently. Brief moment of disconnect before we actually get it live. That's fair enough. You don't want to start with any kind of issues. If there are going to be any, you prefer them to be before the game goes live. As a general rule, once someone has taken damage, that means the game is officially live and it's too late to sort of cancel anything out. But no one had, so that's good news. Gambit starting on the T side as well, mousesports on the CT side. Very curious how this will play out. I think Moses was bringing up a good point in saying that so much of it comes down to the economy. We've seen CT side struggle on this map if they don't have money to buy everything they need. Well,
that is kind of just like a standard, right? The rule is CT side, you need to actually get money to buy the incendiaries. And that's what's going to be so important here, in particular on Inferno CT, is mid control. You can get the early HEs into mid if you want to be clever on the CT side, but more importantly, it's all about banana control and that nade game. It's like layer on layer of meta over there now on timings for HEs, on timings for incendiaries. Are you smoking bottom banana, or are you going to try and control top banana? I mean, all of these teams, they actually have all sorts of different timings, which makes it really fun to watch CT side Inferno right now. Is, you know, how are the CTs trying to deal with that nade game over there on that side of the map? I think it's much less important on the A side of things.
No, you're absolutely right. And it seems like it hasn't really settled yet. You know, people have different sort of opinions about how to do it. I've got my own strong opinions about how people should be playing it. And I routinely get pretty frustrated at watching people play Inferno, actually. But in like a good way, I think it's very interesting. And I love seeing how it develops. We did actually see during the actual major qualifier how differently teams play on A side now that we're talking top mid. I think actually mousesports was one of the teams that were more aggressive, whereas a lot of teams are holding really far back. Like they're all the way back in the A-bomb side. As far as I remember, mousesports were a bit further up and they were playing like close to arch, close to quad, trying to shut that down.
Well, kind of how it's supposed to be played back in the day, right? I mean, back in the day, right? How you used to play is you challenged mid and you'd set up multiple points to fall back to along your way as CT, right? You're holding arch side, you're holding the corner looking into mid. Okay, they come around that corner, you fall back to arch, you fall back to the library corner. Okay, right? You know, there's like step by step by step, you fall back, but you're getting information the entire time. And you're right, Anders, I think teams right now, perhaps because they aren't quite as settled on the map yet, they haven't figured everything out, they're not feeling comfortable playing that mid-information game, and so they just default into a very passive way of holding, which allows for the T side to just basically have full map control right off the bat. That's not what you want to do. You need to be challenging them. You need to be actually trying to play for that information.
Yeah, I agree, and it can't be that people have forgot. I think it's just that it's a bit more difficult holding apartments now. Yeah. And so when people don't have control of that, they feel like they can't control quad anymore, and then, you know, they just sort of fall further and further back. I think that's super risky, but we'll see how it plays out. I'm really interested to see how mousesports will approach this, and I'm really looking. I think watching any of Zeus teams is so much fun. I'm always a big fan of it, and here it comes. The game is live, and we're going to see what happens. Dennis making his way towards the middle, probably just for a quick spot. Can he make the jump to second mid? That's really smart. This is really low risk and really high reward, and so is this shot from Oscar. A second headshot as well, taking down Hoppet. Now we're officially live.
Yeah, action is in. Chris has gotten tagged down, but that's not the end of the world here because Oscar, you know, we talked a lot about the heavy hitters on Gambit, but I mean, Oscar in the major qualifier, he had some insane rounds that where he just showed up and laid low everybody in his way. And so he is going to be one of the players that you need to keep an eye on here. If you're a mousesports fan, if you're looking for mousesports to win, a lot of this is going to come down to him and Robs.
Don't know why he's still challenging. That doesn't make a lot of sense. You're playing a 5 versus 3, and it's a best-of-1 game, so just fall back and play it safe. Let them try and figure out how to get into a bomb site. 2 men stacked in pit as well is such a safe and strong defense on A, so I actually love this setup from mousesports. I think this is a really good call.
quick rotate possible from Lolo, and he's got the kit as well.
Yeah. And that's super important, obviously. So, yeah, I think they're pretty much in the perfect position here. 40 seconds for Gambit to try and make their way through. They've put in the smoke, so now they're definitely committed. Going to try and make their way in as Chris lands a headshot on Adren. Zeus trying to get the bomb down. He's going to have to cancel it for the moment. He's going to get one more frag in. And can he actually get the bomb down? This would be huge right now for Gambit. 5 versus 3 into a 1-on-3 with the bomb down. That's not bad at all.
Did they spot the gun? I think they did. Yeah. And so he's kind of pinned in here, facing 3 players. We'll find it. No, Rops! Headshot on Lowell. The team kill coming through. And Zeus, he realizes they have to close quarters. He wants some more bullets in the gun. Unfortunately, he forgets to reload it, but it doesn't matter. Rops hits the headshot anyway. But you got a bit of a picture there of Oscar. Man who started mousesports off very strong here in their first map of the major. But that's what he does. And Anders, you're right. Why is he challenging Top Banana again at the beginning? But that's just Oscar. Oscar is an aim-driven, just duel-driven kind of player.
Yes.
He wants to get in there. He's always looking for fights. Even when it may hurt his team, he's still looking for fights. And that's his quality, is that sometimes it actually works out for him. He pulls the crazy play.
What a hero as well, saving Chris. That's a 3rd headshot for Oscar in that round. And the fact Chris survived on 11 health, and he got the headshot when they actually entered the B-bomb site. So even on 11 health, you know, still there and still obviously, yeah, lethal. So what a way to get started. AK-47 has been picked up in Adren. That's crazy. You get the bomb plant down, traditionally speaking, you're going to be saving until you get the AKs in the 3rd round. But Gambit, they're putting on the pressure and stepping it up right away. I'm really interested how this will work out. Hobbit going to lose that fight early on. But Adren, what can he give us here?
It's fun to see that it's Zeus who's taking the hit as well for this AK. Down to $150. He's going to go with the Tech 9 in the next round.
Look at this. This is a boost we have seen really rarely on this new version. He's going to win the battle against Chris, but now mousesports know this boost used to be insanely popular, and people do it with the AWP on top, but we have almost not seen it on this new version, so it's great that we finally do. Stealing the FAMAS. Doja has body armor as well. This is doable. This could be done.
Absolutely, this can. Because they've kind of skimped. It's Lowell with an MP9. He does have the rotate coming in from Oscar, but Oscar has the UMP. A little bit more confident in the UMP up close. But with these AKs, we're seeing some of Zeus's old style as well, right? There we go. We get that start. Now we're just going to run down that clock, wait and see if mousesports are going to make the play for information. Then we can punish that. But now it's starting to get to the point where 30 seconds left, and Zeus is once again in his element, executing onto a site with very little time left on the clock.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is the kind of Counter-Strike that we really expect out of him. Doja swapped in for the AK instead. We're down to 15 seconds. That's so little time. Zeus will pick up 1 kill, and Robs is now hiding. Great turnaround and picking off Zeus, who's trying to jump up on that scooter to get the kill. Doja gets a headshot, but it isn't enough. They've done a lot of damage, but eventually they're going to lose the round anyway.
Where's the AK?
Did he not pick it up?
He didn't save it?
I don't think he did. Oh, he didn't. That's such a shame. Did it fall underneath the cart or something?
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like there's some unfortunate turn of events there that meant that he couldn't actually pick up that AK. Get CSGO'd, bro. Oh, that sucks, because I mean, you literally just got gifted. It's like a party favor, the best one. Here, we forced with an AK. We didn't actually win the round, so you get to keep it now. That's so frustrating, especially in the hands of Oscar, who's hitting headshots left and right on CT side. Triple nade down mid. Yes, but then they choose to run right into it. Mo sprays down Dennis, and the nades just go sailing harmlessly past Gambit and mid.
This is such an aggressive and powerful early buy for Gambit. They got 3 kills in the last round. They only bought on 2 of their players with armor and 1 AK, which means they can still sort of make this round work. I mean, it's a Galil and it's a UMP and a little bit more, but this is just fine. It's a way better buy than the one mousesports has.
Yeah, because mousesports thought that they full bought last round.
Yeah.
They thought that they forced last round, and so they're like, oh yeah, anti-eco farm, let's go with the SMGs, make some money. Oh wait, they have rifles. We fell right into it. Great trap set from Gambit, and mousesports walk right into it face first. Man advantage now for Gambit, and this is really going to favor them. They still have a decent number of nades to work with as well. 2 smokes still in play, so they can go for that B execute.
Bit of a deep grenade. Not going to tag anyone. Chris playing alone close with a UMP. That's a great headshot to begin.
Perfect.
That's a lot of damage to Susan. Yeah, this is that's very important. If he goes down, you wonder if the B-bomb side isn't just going to almost fall immediately.
And then they get the boost up as well. So if you want to go for that CT smoke. Oh, Oscar gets caught out in the open. This is going to be the big opportunity here for Rops, and sure enough, he will not miss the chance. Can he get the follow-up? Yes, he can, and now he just needs to stay alive. Man advantage for mousesports. Rotation coming in from the B site, but that's all good because so long as Rops stays alive here, it's a thorn in Gambit's side, and they're going to have to deal with him eventually.
Bomb is finally going to be going down, and mousesports feel like now's the time to strike. Rops missing a chance for a kill, but it does leave Zeus on just 4 health in the pit, and he's going to get taken down by Lowell. That's very smart, and it's a good job on mousesports to wait until they hear that bomb plant sound, because Gambit wasn't really in a position to fake that too much, so you got to appreciate that. Some really tough rounds early on here.
Well, that's where Zeus's style can come back to bite you. If you're running the clock down low every round, well, mousesports are going to start getting used to that. They're going to start saving their utility until later into the round. They're going to start playing for the late game, right? Air quotes. But also, if things go south, like Rops killing 2 of your guys and then staying alive, you don't have much time to maneuver. You have to get that bomb planted, right? You can't just waste another 20 seconds waiting for the rotator or hunting somebody down. You're really trying to get that bomb down to have time to work with. So very quick thinking on his feet there from Robs. He played that situation perfectly, I think. And it's a 3-0 lead now for mousesports on the CT side. Double off in play here as well for the CTs.
What a heavy investment for mousesports to begin with, but it pays off just fine as Mo was trying to lurk her way down there. That shot probably wasn't as easy as it looked with the X-ray on. I suspect from Oscar's point of view there was a bit less to see. So it's a pretty good shot after all, and he's really mobile, moving up into apartments as well. So Gambit, see how they do in this 4th round. They've put so much pressure on mousesports early on here, but now they're starting to run out of money. Even with the bomb plant, it's not quite good enough.
Yeah, they've gone for the full. What they're hoping for here is just the bomb. But I think it's going to be a half buy regardless in the next round, even with the bomb plant in this sort of round. You're not quite getting max money yet. And really, I think you do want to get that AWP in play for Mo. Do you want to start having full nades, the Molotovs, the smokes, everything for a clean execute that you've practiced? These are the kinds of questions that Zeus has to be asking himself, and you're still very early on in the half. I don't see any reason to just keep forcing. You have time to work with here.
I think what could happen is they get lured into a sense of where they have to keep forcing because all the rounds keep going down to 1-on-2s, right? So every time mousesports arrive with 2 members, Gambit make the calculation and say, well, they've got no money, let's just go for it, right? And that's true, but if you don't win any of the rounds, then yeah, you're right. You can't really have perfect T rounds.
Well, here's going to be the opening shot from Chris. Not going to miss it. Easy as pie, looking for the follow-up, and the pressure is there. Where is his teammate? Lowell dropping the ball. They made the man advantage, but that's not going to be good enough. He gets caught by Doja now.
I think he was boosted up, but the smoke was blocking him. That's so unfortunate. Now Dennis gonna hit a shot, and Oscar will take down Adren. Rops will fall to Zeus. Oh, sorry, Zeus will fall to Rops, and that will be the end of it. Mousesports now with a 4-0 lead, and this time they survive with 3 members alive. That's a really big change. It might not seem like a lot, but that's the beginning of a real economy on the Mousesports side. Gambit don't get the bomb plant down, and yeah, what are they gonna do? Buy some Tech 9, some armor? It looks like it.
Oh, that's painful for mousesports, though. They don't succeed in saving Chris J's op. And so that was actually a very expensive round for mousesports. So they save Oscar's because he survives, but they weren't able to make it to the back of the site fast enough to pick up Chris's. And so he has to tap into his bank. You can see he's left on $50. Whereas over on Gambit's side of things, well, it is going to be that save. So Kevlar, some Tech 9s, a couple of nades on Zeus, quickly into apartments. Idrin looking for the shot, trying to bait it out. Dennis holding short, though. And he will eventually get the spray. Headshot wallbang on Adren.
This is very interesting. Hobbit actually hasn't killed anybody yet either, and we're sort of talking about him as one of the potentials to really have an impact for Gambit. He has not had a good start to this game, and that's obviously a problem. Chris, with the flick, he did hit that shot. All right, through the wall. There's no reason why they should take any risks at all right now. Again, mousesports just save all the weapons. If you have a flawless round here, that will obviously be a problem.
Well, I want Zeus to call a timeout here after this round. You have 4 30-second timeouts. Get one into play. Right now, it's going to be the big key round here at the beginning of the half before you start moving into the half of it. And so, there we go. Follow up. Then this is just a turkey shoot. Low will eventually go down, but that's all right. But now's the time if you go for a timeout if you're Gambit. Because you get the full buy finally. You have 6,000 on move. You're going to have all of your nades and everything you want to do here. So, I mean, take the extra 30 seconds to discuss and figure out where you're going to go with this. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen, Anders. Doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Something interesting to think about here now that Mo has the AWP picked up is that Oscar and Chris, but more so Oscar, has been really showing that he wants to take the fight.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that the T side here can actually get that fight early on.
What in the sand hell are they doing?
Down the middle as well. This is madness, just pushing into second mid, trying to go for the spray. Adrenaline pick up one, and Dennis with the refrag, and Doja's there. It's just an all-out brawl, and Chris to finish off Hobbit, and it's a 3-on-3.
Chaos. I don't know, man. That's just chaos. That's a BDP right there. To just say, you know what, CT, we know they full buy, and we're just going to charge mid anyway. Mousesports are trying to just completely mess with Gambit's head right now. They do not want to let Gambit hit their stride whatsoever. When you think that you're going to get a nice and easy round, Zeus, no, actually, we're just going to turn it into a chaotic situation where you're not going to know how to react. Luckily, the team flashes actually cost Mousesports an extra player there. I think it was Rops who just got caught. He was flashed, he got caught in the back. Unfortunately, that could have been an even better situation for Mousesports.
A bit scary at this point in time here. Gambit down 5-0. They need to find a way to pick up a round and put the pressure back on the Mousesports team. Oscar at a bit of an off angle inside of that bomb site. At least he was holding a bit further out. That's more of the standard kind of setup. But yeah, I think makes sense to try and hold that off angle just because you know you're going to get probably smoked off. He's going to jump on top of the smoke instead to try and challenge it for the moment. If he does it now, Mo is waiting for him. He sees the gun barrel, almost takes him down. Bomb is going to be planted. Zeus with a headshot through the smoke. And with 20 seconds, it's going to be a 2-on-3 for the retake.
Yeah, perfectly done. And Mo is going to be able to spot Lowell jumping in through CT as well. Chris not going to have anything to do with this. And the money, it is still all right on Mousesports. They will get a good buy going into the next round. But Chris needs to save this AWP, make sure he backs off, and we'll see if he actually hands it over to Oscar or not.
Yeah, very important, I think, that they save this just one gun, because Lowell is a bit low on money, but everyone else is, is in a position where they could still buy, so definitely important.
I'm glad to see that from Zeus, however. Because usually you're going to go to the B site, right? You know, you're going to go to the smaller site. There's going to be one guy holding there. You've got the 3. He grouped his guys up. He didn't leave a lurker or anything like that. He was like, we just group as 3 and we bum rush the site, and it's a perfect call. It works out.
The fish lost Semler. They're all exploded.
The thing is that, you know, those fish being so close exploded. Were there fish to begin with, Anders? Because there's not going to be anything left.
Fish soup. I think Moses was trying to point that out during the last tournament, so we'll keep that alive for the moment. But yeah, that's actually a flawless execute from them. They don't lose anybody. It's a 3-on-3. They finished, all 3 members alive. So that's big news for Gambit. That's also a bit of confidence being built. You don't want to have a slow start in the major tournament. And with this Swiss format, it's so hard to make your way through. Like, it's really brutal. So yeah. I'm curious how it'll play out now for Mousesports. We do have the tactical timeout being called for them, just to try and settle everything down, slow it down, make sure no one gets panicked at all. And they still have the double open to play.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested in the fact that Mousesports, this is becoming their go-to strategy. This is the first tactical timeout here used by Mousesports, not by Gambit, so Zeus benefits.
They bought an MP7 too many.
I don't know why people are buying the MP7. I guess because of the accuracy, the run and gun accuracy on it. It's pretty good. But I mean, UMP, MP9, pretty much the only 2 SMGs you should be buying.
There's going to be people who want to argue with you about that.
Well, sure, they can, but it's cost too much. The MP7 costs too much versus risk. Like, when you have the MP9 or the UMP, why would you spend even more money on an MP7?
It's true. Dennis with a good spray on one, but not enough to get the second kill. Hobbit now being put into play, and it's about time that we see him do a bit more here in the first half. Rops up on the railing, just waiting. There's going to be a lot of people peeking at the same time. He overpeaks the corner. Hobbit gets the kill, but Doja goes down, and Oscar's going to fail it. Hobbit with a third of the round. Took him a while, but now that he's finally here, it's looking really good. Mo to pick off Lowell, holding it with the bomb all the way back there. Imagine if he goes down instead, but he doesn't, and now Chris has moved all the way up onto the side. It's a 1 versus 2. I don't think they can guess that he's here.
Yeah, I don't think they spotted this.
No, this is an incredibly unlikely position. Might not have. I don't think they will have heard the scoping either, so this can actually work for Chris.
He's spotted. The game is up. Wallbang down to 9 HP as well. Terrific damage, misses the shot, and now he's stuck. Mo, he's not going to wait around. Hobbit, you're the sacrificial lamb. It's not going to matter. He will survive in the end. Managed to get that kill on Chris J. But Mo not wasting a second. You know where Chris is? Great. He's stuck on the A site. Instantly rotates off. Takes the bomb towards B. Smart play coming in from Gambit. That has allowed them to chain 2 rounds together here in the T side.
Break the mousesports economy, and I think what we just saw is a prime example of how disciplined the Gambit team is. Because I actually think most people, because they know Chris is playing the B-bomb side, once they get all those kills, Hobbit opens it up with a triple, you just go and plant the bomb right away, you know, just run up, get that bomb down. But they clearly sort of said, we don't know where he is, just slow down. Don't do anything until we know. And then when they found out, you're right, they even tried to put the bomb over at B instead. So that's wonderful. That's very good to see. And now it's 5-2. And Zeus knows they don't have any armor.
Woo. Nice HE, and Mo, he doesn't even let a teammate take it. No assist here. Claims the kill for himself. He wants those eco frags. Zeus with the MAC-10, of course, wants to do the same. Build a little bit more of that economy for himself. And this is just going to be the run and gun here onto the B site. They're figuring it out, that this isn't in fact a stack, and that they should be able to just walk onto the site now and get the bomb plant.
Yeah, and it's so risk-free with the MAC-10 leading the charge. Like, you've got no worry at all. You see Zeus doing a fine job just checking all the angles, and it's going to be an easy enough plan. I wish Doja would follow up with the rest of the team just so that they can never lose the AK down there at the bottom of Banana, but ultimately this is all going according to plan here for Gambit. Suddenly this first half is looking very open. Oh, that's a nice headshot. Lol taking a kill.
It kind of makes me sick to see ops, though, getting kills in anti-ecos, right, Anders? Because, I mean, like, if you've invested in, like, the SMG, yeah. MAC-10, right, or even a rifle, or a pistol, right, you're getting $300, you're getting $600, and then you got the op that gets a kill in an anti-eco, it's like, well, you only just made $100, man. You know, like, maybe leave it for Zeus to find that kill in CT, because he's hunting right now, you know, let him get that money. But hey, man, stats.
I was worried about that AK getting lost down there, and it just did, and they can't really catch him either, so unless they know a really good wall bang through that wall with the AWP, which is possible. But that's a big slip-up if you're on Gambit's side, giving away. I mean, it's not so bad that Zeus goes down. Maybe it's a bit annoying that he gets to save the Molotov and the MAC-10,
right? But
it's that AK that's definitely an issue.
Is he really going to hold on to the MAC-10?
Yeah, I probably, why not? Like, I mean, it just as long as you play the right position, that can work. But what I really hope happens, yeah, is that they go aggressive with it.
Yeah, he plays B, so I mean, you've got some close angles to hold. But it's like the MAC-10. I don't know. It feels like just a little bit of a risk when he has 2,000.
Just let Chris flash him in. You know, go to the corner and then let Chris set up for a flashbang. But instead, they are going to fall all the way back. Now we'll see. 9th round is coming up. Gambit have won 3 in a row after the initial tyranny of mousesports. We've got a much more passive setup this time for the CT side, except for Oscar, who's playing forward with the UMP. The other two are playing towards the pit.
He's just waiting for that go signal to get that incendiary down. Just waiting. There are the nades, and there's the incendiary. Very quick. It is going to buy a little bit of time here, right on the edge, stopping that mid push. But Adren just goes barreling through from Boiler, up short, straight onto the site. Chris with an instant headshot, though, finds the opening pick here from mousesports. Mousesports haven't taken a single point of damage yet.
And they're all stacked on the bomb side. Finally, Zeus and Hoppy coming to it with a couple of kills. Chris up on the box is going to get knocked out as well. Zeus with a great opening, wrapping around, and Hoppy to take down Lowell. That looked like such an unlikely. First of all, it's out of Gambit's style. They pushed at 1 minute and 10 seconds, but they also pushed into a 4-man stack. You're supposed to lose it every time.
Chris had a great headshot there to start things off, but losing that fight versus Zeus, I think that's the key moment, the turning point. It's these chaotic situations, Anders, where anything can happen. Zeus getting so quick up to library, catching the first guy for free, and then winning the duel versus Chris. I mean, you got to give it to Zeus. Big performance from him. And that is going to hurt mousesports, but a little bit of a Neji smoke here, and there's the shot. Oscar, though, again, not going to hit the flick. A little bit of frustration, you can see it. The head shake from him. He's not happy about that. That is another opportunity that could have given his team a strong opening. Instead, it's Hobbit finding the headshot on Chris. And now we're cooking with gas here. Gambit, they could just press onto the B side. They know they have an opening.
It's really remarkable to see Hobbit coming back in style like this. It can be very hard individually as a player if you have a bad start to spot argue, like usually people end up doing it in the second half because then they have some time to breathe. But Hobbit, he was quiet for the first 5 rounds, and then boom, 7 kills on him right now. And these openings are so good. It really makes a big difference. And mousesports, look at the gamble they're taking. They're saying, listen, we're not going to be able to defend this having 2 on either bomb side, not with this weaponry and not with the lack of grenades. We're going to have to go for the stack.
I like this a lot. Multiple flashes are going to go sailing in. Very clean execute here so far. Dennis, however, not going to spot the man going through the smoke. Yes, he is. Drops right on top of him, but he loses his teammate Lola in the meantime. Not going to get lucky through the smoke, maybe with the spray.
Oh, what a shot from Moscow, right through the coffin, taking down Zeus as he was planting, but in the end, Adren just comes charging through, and even with the stack, mousesports are still going to lose the round. That could have been something there. If Oscar had managed to get back after that shot, if he could have got far enough back into the ruins, that would have been interesting. 5 for 5 now. Scoreline is all tied up moving into the 11th round, and mousesports economy, I mean, it's almost like the panelists know what they're talking about. They were talking about this, whole CT economy.
Kind of important. I mean, you lose rounds, and now this is just that half-buy situation now for mousesports. I think if they force here, they're really giving Gambit the chance. But if you let Gambit get up onto 6 rounds, then you get your buy. If this double op strategy is really key for you, you need to have as much money as possible to make that work. It's a very risky strategy, and so not sure who took the timeout here.
I think it would have been, I think it actually was maybe a technical thing. I think Lowell lost his sound as far as I can tell.
Oh, okay, it's a technical.
Yeah. So we'll get that cleared right up, and then everything should be good. Actually, it's already fixed. Who are these PGL admins that just snap of the finger somewhere and they're on it? It's good work.
It's almost like they run tournaments all the time.
It does feel like it, doesn't it?
Like it's a well-oiled machine over here.
Hobbit is going to stick on the Mac 10, which is alright, but they do have body armor on mousesports' side, so they've sort of invested a bit into this round mousesports. Are you okay with this? I'm okay with this.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Like, this is what they need to do. If they're going to go for the double AWP, they need to just be willing to take a round in the teeth here. They give themselves a chance to do some damage and, maybe win it. But the main thing here is that they're going to be prepared. Come on, Chris. Took it a little bit of time there to finally get the kill, but they have the man advantage, and they got the info. Quick rotate over, and Rop's holding aggressive in Palace and Apartments. It actually works for once.
You just have to love watching Rob's play. Like, he's very young, and his aim is so crisp right now. You can just tell no hesitation at all in getting that frag and putting Gambit in a bit of a strange position. They still have the weapon advantage, but they're in a 4-on-3, and now Dennis is going to move closer with the CSET 75. Back at that bomb site, Chris J with that Mac 10, he might be the guy to actually hold this and keep it alive, and smartly using the 5-7 as well.
Yes, and he just needs to sit tight. Let his teammates work. Because there's still Lowell over on the A side, but he's holding passive graveyard. They have very little information to go off of here right now, mousesports, except that, Gambit, they've infiltrated CT. So they can still swing B or A.
Yeah.
Adrian is just, all he's waiting for is for somebody to peek on this B site.
Oh man, look at the thought that's going into this from Gambit's point of view. They know that it's really risky rushing onto that B bomb side. That's probably what they wanted. Now they are eventually going to have to do it. Grenade comes in. Chris is gone. He saw that he hit the shot. He saw it right on the wall, I believe. And Dren, he's going to get that kill. Mo with the refrag on Rops, and now the bomb is going to be going down for a 2-on-2 here. Very hard for Lowell and Dennis to do anything about. But Mo almost getting caught. That could have been the moment.
That was it, but they have recovered the AK. Now Dennis instantly swapping to it, but there's the first pick. Lowell trying to slow walk his way in, hoping for the backstab, hoping for Dennis to draw too much attention to himself and give him the opening. Instead, it's now Dennis in a 1v2. Caught in a crossfire. He's got a and Kevlar, but they're going to peek him together. Dren went first, but his teammate Mo wasn't far behind. And now Gambit have the lead. But still, that was a round of eco for mousesports. And they succeeded in doing quite a bit of damage there.
That was a very good job, but it's also a great job from Gambit to, like, once you get into CT spawn, I can guarantee you the pressure is on to do something. Like, the whole team is going to be, sort of the jitters are going to be there. It's like, come on, we need, and Susha slows it down. He says, no, let's just hold, like, right now, we're actually just defending CT spawn for a long time. And then eventually they see the opening. It's just very smart. Again, very disciplined. You have to appreciate that the team is so structured. Like, there's no doubt that everyone is listening to Zeus right now. 6-5. They've won 6 rounds in a row here, Gambit. That's impressive.
Once they've taken control of that economy, mousesports, they're fighting hard to get it back, but Gambit are just not cooperating right now. And once again, moving into apartments, but Oscar has the aggressive angle, and he will find the shot on the edge of the smoke. Loving to see this.
By the way, that corner that Oscar is standing in is exactly where the bullets land if people start wallbanging. So that's a huge risk if he's just sort of lingering there for a long time. But this time, Gambit won.
But this is the thing, when you hardly ever see CTs holding aggressive because of those wall bangs, then it almost becomes a benefit for the CTs because they're just not going to expect anybody to be holding there. So now maybe you start wall banging again, you hold somewhere else, you give up Palace. The mind games, they're real. But that's bought a lot of time here. We're down to 45 seconds already in this clock.
Oh. No. Gotta be very careful. Rops is gonna sneak his way through. And he had a bit of backup up top as well. So 2 opening frags and a third one for good measure. Chris J in the B-bomb site. Doja and Zeus gonna be in a lot of trouble here. Doing damage would be really valuable right now. Zeus is low on health and they're starting to make their way in. Could they get the kill on Oscar at least? That's a good frag.
They're doing some damage here. There's still a chance. 19 seconds. Chris still alive. Spots out Doja, boosted over the smoke, and he's still low alive as well. As soon as Zeus pushes around this corner, he should be going down, but it doesn't matter. Chris will go for the peak quick enough to find the shot. And so mousesports, they've tied it up 6-6. They finally end the streak. But there's plenty of money to buy here for Gambit, and so the pressure is still on. 3 rounds left in this first half. And who's going to come out ahead?
mousesports can't let it go now. If they lose this next round, then it's a lot of trouble for them. Chris is looking tuned in as well. This is the sort of Chris that everybody likes to watch. A very good, a triple kill in the round for him as well. A lot of AKs, no AWP this time on the Gambit side, but so many smokes and Molotovs as well. It's going to be interesting. Lots of positions you could probably Molotov on this map that people haven't found out yet.
But look at the aggression from Dennis up in Palace. Oh no, is he boosted on short again? Yeah, okay, he's boosted up on short. I was about to say, like, again you're going Palace. This is starting to get a little bit on the edge here. But this is, you see how passively like Adren and Doja are working their way through Palace now because of, through AAPs, right? Because of the aggression from mousesports now, Gambit can't take it for granted that this is going to be free. Now they actually have to peek around the corners and waste just a little bit more time checking.
Oscar's got the boiler angle. Duran just a couple of steps from losing his life. Instead, with the grenades coming in, he's going to be falling back. Robs not hitting the initial shot. Dennis with a great triple spray down, knocking out Adrenmo and Hobbit. And Zeus finally with a refrag. It might not have been enough here. He might have done everything he needed to. Doja coming in with a one shot on Oscar. And that Molotov not going to hit Lowell this time. Flashbang as well. Can Lowell stop the plant? He actually can't.
No, this favors Gambit now. This is a Gambit situation. They have the crossfire set up, and sure enough, those are going to catch Chris J. Lowell, 1v2, and he's getting caught, but he will find the shot on one, not the second. Zeus just decides to peek, be bold, take the fight, look for it. But what is going on with Oscar? He is missing shots now with the AWP. He dies doing no damage there. And you got to wonder what's going on here, because that is the key moment where you have the man advantage. You should be able to actually at least trade 1 for 1. You win your team the round if you trade 1 for 1 there. What a spray from Dennis.
That's so beautiful, isn't it? Like, well done on Dennis' part. But after this, they're in a 3 versus 5, and yeah, you see the reaction coming out from the mousesports team there. And Dennis sort of a deep sigh, saying, "I did so much. You gave me so little."
The only reason the team was in the round.
Yeah.
After that, all of his teammates just like, guys, please help. 6-7, and now, well, mousesports, it's forced by territory. Time to get in here and just start buying up because you've run out of time, you've run out of space. Early 3 players over on B for mousesports, though. A little bit of the challenge.
I'm fine with them forcing. I wish they. Oscar is a bit aggressive here. I think that's important. He needs to be that. He's missing the shot again, but if you buy that AWP, you sort of have to go and look for a kill with it. And now that Gambit have heard it on this side of the map, they're going to push the other side instead. Yeah,
he took one last shot before rotating off, but I think he needed to rotate just a little bit quicker there for Oscar, because now he's going to be a little late to the party over here on A. As they start to execute Gambit, they're going to get more and more comfortable. And they've left Arch intentionally open. Oscar, now's the time to hit the shot.
Could be very dangerous. He's going to try for the gap shot, but those are very hard to hit. And he's not going to be able to do it this time either. 40 seconds left. They've heard the orb, so they know exactly where he is. They've got a very good read. I think Gambit know exactly what's going on in this round. Robs again close with the pistol, taking a kill. He's been very good at that. Dennis with one and a second as well. Dennis making it work. Robs is going to be taking down Mo and Oscar to finish the round. It's flawless from mousesports. Unbelievable. Man, someone is going to have to buy Dennis a beer later on or something. These couple of rounds have just been amazing for him. Robs as well with 13 kills, tied with Zeus on the other team.
You know who else is shouting unbelievable? This is unbelievable because they literally have everybody from Gambit literally standing on top of like 4 players from mousesports on that A site. 30 seconds left and they still haven't found an opening kill. It's like where is mousesports? Are they all ninjas now all of a sudden? Can we just not see them?
Just hiding all the way in the back there. Those close-range pistols, the 5.7, the P250, one shot, and on Inferno, I mean, almost all of the corners are going to be like that.
Yeah.
So having someone like Robs who can just knock it open, that's very hard to deal with. That's where you really need to use Molotovs to burn out everything that's close range, but that's easier said than done.
No, we've got a battle now. This is a full buy from mousesports, double AWP in play once again, but it's going to be the force coming in from Gambit. They only have a single AK to work with. And so now, it looks like it is going to be the 5 players ready to go here on the A site. That perfectly timed Molotov, though, up in apartments.
So perfectly timed because the smokes are already in from the middle, so they sort of have to do something. Now the whole push is really disjointed, like they're not really getting the right timing here on Oscar. Hitting one shot, Dennis and Noel chiming in, and this is slightly falling apart for Gambit. Still a 2-on-3, but Adren is on 5 health.
And they've got bomb control here. And that's why Doja has to work his way back over here with that AK. Adrian hoping that somebody's going to overstep towards Library Arch. You've got 30 seconds. That isn't a whole lot of time here. You need to find a kill to create some space. Punk sitting right in the middle of T, and that's eventually going to mean Idrin's death. Doja, 1v3. And little does he know, you've got Chris J at the bottom of mid waiting for the shot, and there we go. Perfectly done from mousesports. Last 2 rounds of this half, they managed to make it work. They come out ahead 8-7 on CT side Inferno. Not too shabby.
Yeah, this is a very workable scoreline. I think it's really impossible to predict who's going to end up winning now, but just a job well done. 7 rounds for Gambit, and they had a streak of winning 6 in a row. That in itself is sort of crazy, but yeah, I'm kind of excited now. I feel like in the beginning it looked like mousesports were just going to run away with everything. We were going to have one of those games on our hands, but
you get that CT lockdown. And I think it's just nerves. Nerves started jingling and jangling, and people started missing shots on mousesports. And all of a sudden, you've got Gambit sitting at 7 rounds going into the second half. But if mousesports win this pistol, I think the pressure is really going to ramp up here for Gambit.
Well, if you are just tuning in, if you managed to stumble into this broadcast, then you're watching the first map of the PGL Major, and it's mousesports versus Gambit, and it's already been electrifying, and it's absolutely only going to get better throughout the day. We've got so much coming away. Another 7 best-of-1s today. Yep. There's a lot of Counter-Strike happening. We're still in the group stage, obviously, and now second half is coming up here. Mousesports on the T side.
Yeah, this is almost playing out exactly as it did in the first half. Adrian somehow, no headshots for you this time, Oscar. No kills. He gets snuffed early on here. But Doja did exactly what Dennis did on the A side, jumping through apartments, checking second mid, checking mid, right? A little bit of a fadeaway there, and then you take the fight at Banana. It's just both of these teams just mirroring each other on how they're approaching their CT sides and the pistols.
Great win for Gambit to get that early kill. They've stacked 3 on the B bomb site, 2 on A, so mousesports could still find a way to come through with a win here. Trying to do it early on, another headshot raining in, this time on Mo, but Doja in the pit. He's going to take one. They're getting close. Robs will get that kill. Unbelievably, I hope we see that from his point of view. And now it's a 3-on-3. The bomb has gone down, and mousesports are now back in the driving seat until Zeus picks up Dennis. Just a bit of his head showing on top of that box. That's one hell of a headshot. And now it's Robs and Chris.
Not needing to overextend, but Adrian finds Shrops, and it's on Chris now to hold it. He's down to 7 HP, needs to charge forward and look for the fight. Adrian was very low as well on 8 HP. That could have been a different situation, but Hobbit, he was so close by. Just an impossible situation there for Chris, unfortunately for him, getting instantly headshot down.
Yeah, but he did the right thing. I think if you're stuck in the corner and you just wait for them to close in, you're not going to win. Like, he should have probably tried to fight that, otherwise he would have almost certainly been dead anyway. Mousesports winning the pistol. Scoreline is looking... Oh, sorry, Gambit winning the pistol. Scoreline is tied up, 8-8. And look at what Mousesports are buying. They realize, wait a minute, Zeus, we can play that game too.
Exactly, right. It's actually just taking advantage of the pistol, and they've gone a one-up as well. They've actually managed to pick up 2 AKs on Mousesports' side. The thing is, the difference here, we're seeing Mo with the scout, misses the shot completely, puts it right into the wall. A little bit of jittery there.
But he hears the AK, and that's so valuable. Now Gambit are alert. Like, they should definitely think about saving as many grenades as possible here. This is interesting. And Mousesports don't have really money to buy for the next round, so this is sort of more of an all-in as to Gambit, who sort of, bought 1 AK and then bought in the next round anyway. That's a nice headshot. That's what you want to see.
Can Lowell pick up that second AK? It's going to be Rops, but he doesn't have Kevlar, so I'd like to see that handed over to Lowell. Sure enough, that's exactly what's going to happen, making sure that when they drop it, it doesn't make any noise. And now, well, it's going to be the gather rush straight onto the B side, it looks like here for Mousesports. Bit of the run and gun. They've got 2 smokes, and so they can at least set up the coils, or the coffins now, smoke and the CT smoke. Get those 2 down, Molotov into the back corner, and just run onto the site. Get in there, boys.
Good little counter grenade coming out, trying to slow it down. The spray through the smoke is got here from Adren. Look at the damage being output here. Hobbit's going to have to fall back, but that's perfectly fine. Just go for the retake with the whole team. There's a grenade in the hand of Zeus as well. Does actually not hit anybody at all, but Adren with a boost up gets a quick double. And Lowell and Oscar are in a lot of trouble right here. Lowell gets 1 headshot, Oscar with the second. And now it's all on Oscar here. He's done a great job so far, but he doesn't expect a double peak coming in. And it's going to be the round for Gambit.
Plenty of time, and just making sure that no an ACS is possible here. Don't run away before the bomb goes. Don't let the guy with the kit defuse the bomb. This is a lesson we learned this weekend.
Yeah, why you have to bring that up, Sumler? That was physically painful to watch.
It was agony. It was actual agony. I think you could feel it transmitted through the screen. Finesse's face at that point. Yep. Well, NA just need to keep improving, right? They just need to keep showing that anything is possible in this game. Ooh,
well, listen, we've got Cloud9 in this tournament, and
no pressure.
I personally feel like they've been playing very well. I'm super impressed by them. So I actually have really high hopes for Cloud9 to go far in this.
They should make it top 8 here. Now, whether they go deeper than that, that's going to be the real question. But I mean, you can't really take Cloud9 lightly. The only issue here is that I think the teams were kind of taking Cloud9 lightly, and now, well, you go that deep in Cologne. Okay, time to take you a bit more seriously here for the major. So it's going to be a question of whether or not Cloud9 can actually step up to the challenge here at the major versus the best in the world.
Yes, indeed. A quick tactical timeout, and then we will be back in the game in just a second here. The scoreline being 9-8 in favor of Gambit. Winning that round is obviously really big for them, and I'm curious how Mousesports will respond. It seems like Gambit are going to have a pretty good start to their CT side as well. Oh, and would you look at that?
Why not?
So this is where Gambit had, Galils and AKs to actually fight with, and Mousesports heavy in the last round. They have just, bought a bit less in this one, but still not bad. Still definitely winnable.
Time to go all in.
Oh, is it going to be the flashbang from the middle? So the fact that Chris is in there and he's got the double flash and everyone is in his apartment, it's sort of at least some sort of a giveaway that they could be trying to set up for sort of the rush out of apartments with 3 people coming out.
A lot of nades getting used up in apartments, though. It's not going to leave a whole whacking lot here for Gambit, but the smoke goes down to buy a little bit more time. And Chris, is he aware that they have pushed down Banana this quickly? Because Hobbit is now just going to be camping here waiting.
Trying to find the right timing. Chris, I think, made a bit of noise jumping up, so Hobbit probably would have heard that. Yeah, every time he does this, Hobbit is, sort of saying, well, there's at least one in sort of mid somewhere. There's the flashbang close in. Actually, they're not going to come out of apartments. Instead, they just want to take that top mid control. That's kind of interesting.
Forcing Gambit back, denying Gambit information. You can see from the positioning here now, balcony, pit, And then holding in front of Library. Gambit are pretty much as far back as you can get. And so they're looking for that element of surprise here, but it doesn't look like it's going to work because Hobbit, playing for information, is pushed Banana. He's at bottom mid. He's shooting Chris in the back, and he's going to find the kill eventually, and that just throws everything out of whack here for mousesports. Rotation has already come in from Adren, and now this is it. Doja, he's going to have a field day.
Lol and Oscar with a couple of refrags, and Hobbit and Friend left. Long range fighting going on. Dennis will take down Hobbit. It falls apart with only 12 seconds left there. It looked like maybe Gambit could have been playing for time and just trying to wait until they actually get that bomb plant in there. But mousesports with a remarkable job, and that's going to really throw a wrench in the works here.
Okay, that's just because they go straight apartments and short. They don't even care about Library. They just go straight in onto the A site as a group, as a unit there. That's really what made the difference for mousesports, because Gambit, that's the kind of round where it kind of makes you sick to your stomach if you're Gambit, where you're just like, man, you know, we had everything going for us here. We knew where they were coming from. We got the first kill on Chris. And so the pressure is on for mousesports, and we still can't hold.
And to be honest, Gambit had done a really good job delaying the apartment side with Brunette. Like, they had a Molotov down at like 28 seconds in apartments. That's very hard to deal with, except mousesports didn't care. It's like, that's not a problem for us because we've got 3 men pushing quad, so by all means, use all your grenades in apartments. It's not really going to matter that much to us. It'll only slow down 1 person, and not even that much.
Yep. Let's see it. Through the smoke, maybe, or just as the smoke clears? It's going to be through the smoke. A little bit of the Fnatic here.
Oh, close range with a CSAT 75. Doja will pick up 1 kill as well. mousesports, you made it through the smoke, and then you kept on pushing. Now Adren moving in behind to take down Lol. Trying for a second shot, just blind through. Oscar turning around with the kill, going for a second spray, but Hobbit is going to win the fight, and now it's all on Robson. He's going to get 1 at least. Got the grenade out, and he's down to 12 health here. Gambit, if they steal this round back, mousesports are going to be furious.
Absolutely, but they've got a little bit of the mind game going. He's making good use of his time here, Rops. Running back to B, making them second guess themselves, and he's succeeded in splitting them up. Now he's got a duel. He's got a series of duels that he gets to work with here, and so it's a matter of finding Doja. Good bit of utility here on Rops as well, and so he could get a Molotov out if he wants, but he definitely does not want to be swapping anything out. He wants to have that gun in hand at all times to check all of these angles, make sure that he finds the headshot if the chance is there, and I'm pretty sure he spotted the gun barrel, and so Doja, the game is up. Sure enough, Rops, no, misses the shot! Doja stepping out, the X-God ruining it for Rops.
Oh, you hate to see that. Just look at his face. He had everything working out so well. The gun barrel was all he needed to take that shot. Admittedly, that was going to be a hard 2v1 regardless, but he actually played it very well.
Dude, Hobbit had like 10 HP.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like then it's anybody's round at that point if it's a 1v1. He needs to find Doja, and again, this time it's mousesports. So like, well, we had the info, and we just couldn't actually capitalize on it.
Second tactical timeout from mousesports being called. I think that's not such a bad idea. Gambit looking interesting right now. They just need to start that economy rolling somehow. How can they actually cement that part of the game? Because that's still lacking at the moment.
This is where it starts, Anders. It looks like mousesports, they're getting cold feet.
Yeah.
It is time now to just simply go for the hard ego throw on mousesports, and this is going to be, should be the feel-good round here for Gambit, where they can actually breathe a little bit. You've got 2 UMPs, get those UMPs in play, start farming up some cash. You really, if you're Gambit at this point, double nade onto Oscar, no hiding, no safe place. This is it. Keep everybody alive right now if you're Gambit. Or go super aggressive. That works too.
As long as they don't lose too many rifles. That's such a great aim from Adren.
1 HP on Hobbit.
Yeah, it's the spray transition into tapping. Like, that's the recoil goes all over the place when you try and do that, but apparently not for Adren. He is such a beast on this particular team, and look at him, 19 kills.
Leading the way. Leading the way. That's exactly what you need from Adren here for Gambit to stand a chance. Some of that clean aim. Boom. It's art. It's art.
Yeah, that is not easy at all. 11-9. The only thing we're missing is one of those classic Adren winks into the camera.
Yeah.
We're very good at those as well. Maybe we can get one later on.
It's still early days, Anders.
Yes, indeed. How is this going to play out? 2 UMPs, 1 Scout, and 2 AKs on the Gambit side. So, sure, they've got a 2-round lead, but this is a weird buy that they've got going on right now. mousesports could take full advantage of this.
Instead, we're going into the default sort of approach here. Both teams just sitting and waiting. Who's going to win the duel first? It's not going to be anybody over on A. Gambit are holding way back, and we're not quite late enough in the round, especially when they are playing exactly this far forward on Banana. On A side, they don't need to be taking too many risks. It's their teammates over here who are somehow going to get out nearly unscathed. All those bullets go through that smoke, and yet Doja, he's fine. Everybody's fine over here. That's unreal. Doja's fine. He's over in the pit.
It looked for a minute like it could get a bit scary. I think Chris saw the angle of the smoke when it came in, so he had an idea that someone was going to be by the tree, but now they're clearing out all of Banana. This is all good for mousesports. There's only one issue. It's the fact that there's 25 seconds left on the clock, and that's a really big issue. mousesports, not particularly well known for executing this late in the round. Hobbit up on the box as well with the UMP, going to pick up a kill on Chris, and now it's all falling apart. Mo with the Tech 9 kill, Hobbit doing it again, and now the flashes are in. Hobbit with a third headshot coming in. He's wrecking mousesports, and Laurel now going to be in a 1 versus 5, and he goes down. No chance at all. That's such a strong defense being put up, and I think you could tell that mousesports was like, hey, let's try and edge our way into the bomb site with 20 seconds. It's like, what if one grenade goes down, or what if Hobbit is there? Man, Hobbit is, I don't know, what a phenomenal player. 11-9, and he's got 14 kills or something at this point.
Yeah, he played that position perfectly as well. And you can see the frustration, I think, there from Chris J, starting to talk a little bit. But it's another round of eco here for mousesports, so you're going to have plenty more time, if you are mousesports, to talk things over, because this is just going to be a bloodbath. Zeus will find his shot, Mo as well. So Chris, Lowell, and Rob's last 3 alive here for mousesports. Gambit are not afraid to use their utility here. They're just throwing nades left and right. Not trying to save anything for the next round.
And being quite aggressive, just like in the previous round. We're sort of mentioning that a bit. Not giving any space for mousesports to move around or any time to talk anything over. Doja will get the last kill of the round, and that's 13 for Gambit Esports now with a 4-round lead in the first map of the PGL Major. That has to feel just great, and it was looking shaky for a while. Now it feels like they're in prime position to actually win this first map. They really haven't done it yet, and it can still change a lot, but I'm really liking what we're seeing here.
Oscar still topping out the ADR for mousesports. It's always so weird with Oscar. It's like, you see him, you spectate him, either he hits the flicks or he doesn't, but then you start spectating somebody else. He just seems to find kills again, like under the radar, right? It's going to be the buy once again, and it looks like we're setting up for that mid flash. Oscar is going to be the one. Not even going to wait for the smoke. There's the HE. The timing is good. Flashing right through. Nobody there to greet him from Gambit. However, on the other side of the smoke, it's going to be Doja lining him up with the UMP. 1, 2, and 3. Get out! Perfect hold from him, and that leaves it down, well, to Chris. 1v5.
In a really tragic way, mousesports actually lost just like they did last time they tried that, and it's that flashbang, it's great for clearing out if anyone is like under the canopy or anything like that, but they want to push all the way around the corner. Like they keep pushing behind one flashbang. There's no chance that flashbang will keep someone blind forever.
They get the follow-up flash in. There was a follow-up flash, but it just doesn't blind Doja.
No, like I feel like it, and plus the counter smoke was out from Gambit, the one that's actually right at that corner where all the corpses are.
Yeah.
So once you see that, maybe you should be thinking, actually, let's just cancel this right away, because pushing through the spot, I just think you're putting too much faith in, even if it's 2 flashbangs. Like that's risky.
It's like an information flash, really. It's like you force them off, and then you get top mid. Great, cool. Did you get a kill? No. Well, still have that map control. Chris snuffed.
Yeah, it's like if someone is close, maybe you flash and kill him. If no one is close, then you get, you know, top mid. And then if you want to push around the corner, just set up more grenades, you know. 14-9. mousesports. Some amount of trouble. As you can tell, they could buy 4 AKs and then maybe more realistically 2 AKs and a bunch of tech lines if they really wanted to go for it.
Do the tech 9s or do the UMPs?
Yeah, it's risky buying just AK head armor and then that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you need, unless you have some way to deal with the fact that Gambit are going to have all of the grenades to mess you up with and you're going to have none. I mean, it's basically like, oh, just execute B, I guess. CT smoke and run. Bit of a chat going on right now. I mean, he is still looking positive there, coach, that is. Ellen talking a bit with Chris. Rops, though, somebody needs to give him a hug. He's doing a lot of humming and hawing and sighing over there right now. He needs to, I don't know, get a little bit more upbeat. You're not out of it yet.
Oh, definitely not. And actually, it'll be no AK, so just sort of going in the middle of the road here for mousesports. They still have money for the next round, so they could fight for overtime, or they could just make this round work. Tech 9 armor is it's an Inferno classic, really. Okay.
Sick shot. 2 HP, now 1 HP on Robs, and they will eventually find the kill with the HE. Up close though, Adrian challenging these Tech 9s, and that's going to cost him. Chris J taking point, finds the 2 headshots, and sure enough, they will make this work, mousesports. This is unreal. Some aggression from Gambit, and that just that cost them so much. Run up close, play aggressive versus Tech 9s. Yes.
And all the grenades that they put out to Banana were at the bottom of Banana, and half the mousesports team were waiting right behind that wall, so wow. That's a really, really big return on investment for mousesports.
Yeah, interesting decision from Gambit. And well, mousesports, yeah, they can count their lucky stars because they went for the half buy. So the gamble pays off this time, Anders. Now they're going to win this round. They're going to save a bunch of rifles in the mix as well. And they don't even care about hunting Gambit at this point. Just keep what you've got. Make sure that you got a way out of the site. Save what you've got. And your economy, all of a sudden, it's completely revitalized.
Just because you said that, I have to point out that Doja has 12,000, Zeus has 12,000 after the...
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much money on Gambit that mousesports are going to have to fight every step of the way to try and actually get that either win or overtime. Gambit are in a great position still, but that's obviously confidence building.
And they can go for the AWPs all day long if they want here, mousesports. Those, I mean, they save so much money. Rops on 3,000, 4,600 on LOL after buying. That's a feel-good moment here for mousesports, and that should give them a little bit of a boost to their confidence. 10-14. Gambit still 2 points off, 2 rounds off the win in the first map of the major. And Oscar, he's just like, you're going to hang around again? We're going to look for this shot. If you want to take this duel, Mo, let's dance.
I mean, when Oscar's on point, you don't want to fight him too much either. He's...
mind games. They're setting up the mid-flash again. A little bit of misdirection here. That might keep Gambit guessing.
Oh, that's good job on Mo to re-peek it, though. You're right. That's what they've been doing a number of rounds. Instead, it's going to be flash top Banana. Spray comes in from Adren, and he's going to be able to 2 big kills behind that. I think Zeus even saw that shadow through the smoke, and Hopper will take down Dennis. Good communication, good play all around on the Gambit side here. Lowell and Oscar, 2 versus 5.
That's sick work.
Yeah, that's just I mean, that's something that I've been complaining about a lot. The lack of the retake of Top Banana.
It's, I mean, just replaying off of Mo's communication there, off of his information. Is speeding over like, well, there is nobody mid. They did not actually push here, guys. And so what's the instant reaction? Flash top Banana, get some info there. And sure enough, it works out perfectly. Adren picks up 2 headshots, 2 kills, and it's match point now. 5 of them for Gambit. At mousesports, they still have, because of that successful round, they still have money to get that AWP into Oscar's hands. And the Galil on Dennis. Double up on T-side. All right, then mousesports, let's go. Let's see, what are they going to do?
That's a bold move, isn't it?
Interesting, right? Interesting.
What does Lowell have? Did they sacrifice? I think Lowell sacrificed everything to get that orb on Chris.
Yeah, he had the most.
That's strange. Chris not going to make it work. Right away gets taken up by Mo. 4 more kills, and Gambit will pick up their first map here at the major. Obviously, a great way to get started. Swiss format, obviously slightly more forgiving, but still got to be careful. Rob's almost with the lineup. Looked like he had the headshot right through. They need some sort of kill to get back in this round, mousesports. They're fighting for overtime right now. They need 5 in a row. Oscar goes down to Mo, who started to step it up with the AWP now. It's not looking good at all. Dennis is going to get the kill on Noel, leaving Doja, leaving just Dennis in a 1 versus 4 here. Gonna pick up 1 kill, and you have to think there's almost no chance that he could do this. He's boxed in.
And sure enough, there it is. End days for mousesports, at least here at the beginning. 16-10 victory for Gambit in their first match of the major. Mousesports, they're going to get into that 0-1 category where they will be playing against a team who loses, right? You can only play against teams that have the same score as you, right? And so